cannot go on vacation because all those young men need is arms. And if they get arms, they are going to be at our doorstep. Now, what I would call, the Bible talks about dumb dogs that will not bark. I would consider that man a smart dog that did bark. And a lot of people didn't listen to him because they thought that Adolf Hitler was not a threat at all. And so he gave his speeches, he tried to rally the United Kingdom up to prepare for war. Now, I often wondered if this man was alive and he pierced into the eyes of this man right here, what would he be saying? I mean, I believe that he would say, I've heard this rhetoric before. I believe he would say that that man looks like this man. This man sounds like this man. And that he would warn the United States of that man right there. Because that man right there studied this man right here. And he wants to live the end of his life like that man, a dictator. Now, from my research, and I bought the book, I left it in the car, but this man here had this man behind him. You see that? That's Pope Pius XII. You see the signal he's giving? That's a Jesuit signal to say that the Catholic Church is in control of both state and church worldwide. There's a book called Hitler's Pope. Fascinating book. I was reading some of it this week, but it kind of gives a background on who was propping up Adolf Hitler. It was the man who was in charge of the Roman Catholic Church. As you can see here, Adolf Hitler coming to bow down and kiss the ring of this Pope. Now, not trying to sound political, but as we've been studying here at this church, you know Revelation chapter 13, it was studied some in Sabbath school, but in Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, there's two horns, and one is republicanism, which is the state, which is the government of the United States. And so we have the same guy running for president in 2024. I'm sure you've been watching his legal problems, indicted on 7 counts, 1 count, 31 charges. And that's not including what's coming down the pike and the one he was charged with in New York. But I believe that this is another Teflon Don. Y'all remember him? The gangster from New York, from that Gambino family. Every time he went to court, nothing stuck. Teflon Don, that's where he got his name from. And they keep calling this man a mob boss. But if you do your research, you will see that those mob bosses go to people like this right here. Most mob bosses are Roman Catholic. Now, as he is trying to get in this place right here, you think that man up top is listening to all of his rhetoric and what he wants to do if he was to get in a place called the White House. Now, people say that the White House is named after Andrew White. Andrew White is a Roman Catholic Jesuit. You do some more research, you'll discover that even the land where the White House is put upon was owned by Roman Catholics. The land itself. As a matter of fact, the bricks that built that house came from Roman Catholics. Now, we discussed this. How many branches of government are there? How many? There are 3 branches of government, and here they are. What's that one over there? On the far left. What building is that? That's the Capitol. So what branch of government is it? It's the legislative branch. Now that one in the middle, what is that? What building is it? That's the White House. So what branch of government is that? That is the executive branch. And this one here, what building is that? What building is it though? Huh? That's the Supreme Court, and that is the judicial branch. Now, this is our government and what makes up our government. There is someone, a rich, very wealthy family, I'm giving you some homework to do, called the Carrolls. I'll never forget in junior high school when they made the subway coming through our area. At the end of the line was New Carrollton, Maryland. That name came from somewhere. There's John Carrollton, there's Daniel Carrollton, and there's another Carrollton. One of them is the signer on the Declaration of Independence. Did you know that one of the forefathers or the founding fathers of America is a Jesuit? A Roman Catholic signature on the Declaration of Independence. Well, the legislative branch used to be his farm. They own thousands and thousands of acres of land, and so when they were about to sign the Declaration, they needed a place to put the legislative and the executive branch. His farm was chosen. I'm bringing all of this up for a reason, all of this connection with Catholicism, because they feel like those branches are theirs. Now, this is what kind of a nation is this supposed to be? A Protestant nation, right? So in those branches, who should be running them? Protestants, right? Now, who's running the last branch, the judicial branch? Who has the majority? Is something wrong with that picture? I want you to read this statement for me, or with me, because in my mind, I'm waiting for this to take place in America. It says, the lamb-like horns and dragon voice of the symbol point to, what's those 2 words underlined? A striking contradiction. I'm waiting for that. Between the professions and the practice of the nation thus represented. The speaking of the nation is the action of its what? Legislative and judicial. You see those 2? And then they take it to the executive branch for the president to sign. The speaking of the nation is the action of its legislative and judicial authorities. We should be looking for some action to come out of those 2 branches that will be a striking contradiction of what we've professed as a nation for nearly 250 years. And this striking contradiction, when it takes place, will affect every Seventh-day Adventist. Now, these 3 branches of government are the state. The state. Now, there's a book here called 50 Years in the Church of Rome. I just want you to see this, brothers and sisters, because this is amazing. Chapter 54 of this book, it says this. It says, "What will those hypocritical and godless sons and daughters of the fanatical pilgrim father say?" You know what they're talking about? They're talking about everyone in this building. They're calling you hypocritical and godless. This is what they think of everyone in this building who is not Roman Catholic. What will they say when not a single what? A single judge, not a single teacher, not a single policeman will be elected if he be not a devoted what? Irish Roman Catholic. What will those so-called giants think of their matchless shrewdness and ability when not a single what? Senator or member of Congress? Does anyone know what our president is as far as religion is concerned? He's Roman Catholic. But do you know what his nationality is? He is Irish. Now look at this statement. 50 Years in the Church of Rome was written long before any of us were born. It says, "If he be not submitted to our Holy Father the Pope." What a sad figure those Protestant Yankees will cut when we will not only do what? Elect the president. I pray God you're not out there voting, because your vote do not count. Look, this is a Roman Catholic priest writing this book, and he's quoting from those he know from the inside. He had inside insight. And he says, they say, we will not only elect the president. So you have the president, you have judges, you have senators and members of Congress. Is that our three branches of government? So right here in this, they're saying that they want to, look at what it says here in red. Then, yes, then we will rule the United States and lay them at the feet of the vicar of Jesus Christ, the Pope, that he may put an end to their godless system of education and impious laws of liberty of conscience, which are an insult to God and man. Now, when he talks about, or when they talk about the laws of liberty of conscience, that strikes directly at those three angels that we had up there. Because at the very heart of the gospel is liberty. But I didn't come to talk to you about this morning. I just wanted to put something on your mind, give you something to look for, brothers and sisters, because Thank you, brother, for the special music. You're in Revelation chapter 7, but I want you to set your eyes on this chart right here. Now, last week I mentioned this statement.